Close your eyes. Breathe. Now, forget what the world told you was possible. Forget the rules, the logic, the timelines, the limits. Because what you are about to do is not logical. It's spiritual. It's creation in motion. You are not waiting for your miracle. You are the miracle in motion. Right now, your imagination is the workshop of God. Every image you hold with feeling, every assumption you accept as true, is a seed planted in the field of reality. Imagination is the creative power everything you see in your life. Every success, every failure, every object, every opportunity, first began as an image in someone's mind. Nothing appears in the world of form that did not first exist in the world of imagination. Your imagination is not a toy. It is not mere fantasy. It is the power that creates reality itself. The same creative force that brought the universe into being lives within you, quietly waiting for your command. When you imagine, you are not pretending. You are creating. You are shaping the invisible substance of reality with the pictures, emotions, and assumptions you hold inside your mind. Every thought impressed upon the subconscious mind becomes a seed planted in the field of life. And every seed, in time, bears fruit after its own kind. Think about it. Every invention that changed the world began as a vision in someone's imagination. The airplane, the internet, the skyscraper, the million-dollar business, all were unseen ideas before they became solid things. The same law that governed their creation governs yours. What you imagine with faith and feeling must appear. But most people use their imagination unconsciously. They worry, they doubt, they imagine failure, lack, or fear, and then wonder why life gives them exactly that. The imagination doesn't judge between good or bad, wanted or unwanted. It simply reflects the dominant image held with emotion. So if you constantly imagine struggle, you will experience struggle. But if you imagine abundance, freedom, and success, and feel those things as real, the world must rearrange itself to bring them to you. Your imagination is not just mental, it is spiritual action. Every time you imagine, you are moving energy, shifting vibration, and commanding reality to align with your inner state. That is why the most powerful practice you can ever develop is the conscious use of imagination. Not as a fleeting daydream, but as a deliberate act of creation. When you sit quietly and close your eyes, the outer world fades, and you enter the true workshop of God, your inner consciousness. There, you can construct the scene of your fulfilled desire. See yourself living the life you want, not as a distant wish, but as something happening now. Feel it, hear it, touch it in your mind. The more vivid and real you make it within, the faster it must appear without. Because the outer world is nothing but a mirror reflecting the pictures you hold within. If you desire to be a millionaire, you must first see yourself as one in the theater of your imagination. Feel the weight of that success. Feel the gratitude that overflows from your heart as though it has already happened. When you feel it real, you give life to that image. You breathe spirit into form. You awaken the creative law that cannot fail. The secret is not to force anything. It is to believe in the unseen, to trust that imagination is more real than what your senses show you. The senses only reveal the past. Imagination reveals the future. So from this moment on, stop looking at what is. Start imagining what can be, and feel it as already true. Because imagination is not daydreaming. It is creation. It is the divine power within you, waiting for your command. Everything begins and ends in imagination. When you master it, you master life. Assume the end as already fulfilled. There is a secret known only to those who dare to believe before they see. It is the secret of living from the end, not towards it. Most people spend their lives chasing, hoping, and waiting for what they want, believing that only when they see it will they believe it. But the law of creation works in the opposite direction. It says, believe it, and you shall see it. Assuming the end means entering into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, now. Not tomorrow, not one day, but this very moment. It means you stop striving for the dream and begin to live from it. When you assume the end, you walk, speak, think, and feel as though your desire has already been achieved. You carry yourself differently. You vibrate differently. You move through life with quiet confidence. Because within, you already know the truth. It is done. This is not pretending. It is creation in consciousness. Every event that happens in your physical world first takes form in the unseen world of your imagination. And the bridge between the two is your assumption, your inner acceptance of something as already true. So when you assume that you are wealthy, loved, healthy, or free, you are claiming your power as the creator. You are declaring, "This is who I am," and the universe must reflect that declaration back to you. You see, the world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting what you assume yourself to be. You cannot assume poverty and experience wealth. You cannot assume limitation and express freedom. You cannot assume lack and receive abundance. But the moment you shift your inner identity, the instant you feel the truth of your desire fulfilled, reality begins to reshape itself to match your new state. The outer world may take time to rearrange, but the inner creation happens instantly. In that moment of assumption, the seed is planted, and nothing can stop its growth, except your own disbelief. That's why you must remain loyal to your assumption, no matter what appearances show. Even if your bank account is empty, assume abundance. Even if the world says impossible, assume it is done. Even if nothing seems to move, persist in the end. Because the law of life responds to your inner conviction, not your outer condition. Assuming the end is an act of faith, not blind faith, but intelligent faith in the creative power of your own consciousness. It is knowing that everything begins within. When you say, "I am already successful," when you say, "I already have it," you are not lying to yourself. You are speaking from a higher truth. Your outer senses will argue. They will say, "Look around you. Nothing has changed." But that's because the world is showing you yesterday's assumptions. Keep living in the end, and soon the world will catch up to today's vision. Each time doubt arises, return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel it again and again until it becomes natural, until it feels more real than your current circumstances. Then, one day, you will wake up and realize the miracle has unfolded quietly, perfectly, inevitably, because creation was finished the moment you assumed it. You didn't chase it. You didn't beg for it. You became it in consciousness, and life had no choice but to mirror it back. So stop waiting for signs and start being the sign. Walk as the version of yourself who already possesses what you desire. Think from the end. Speak from the end. Lie from the end. For when you assume the end as already fulfilled, the world rearranges itself to make it so. Feeling is the bridge to reality. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to feeling. You can repeat affirmations 1,000 times, visualize every detail, and still see no change, until your words and images become alive with emotion. Because it is not what you say that moves the world, it is what you feel to be true. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the sacred link connecting your imagination to physical reality. When you feel something deeply, whether joy, fear, or gratitude, you impress that feeling upon your subconscious mind, and the subconscious creates according to its belief. So ask yourself, what are you feeling most of the time? Not what you want, but what you feel. Because life mirrors feeling, not desire. You may desire wealth, but feel lack. You may desire love, but feel loneliness. You may desire success, but feel doubt. And the world, being a faithful mirror, reflects the feeling, not the wish. That's why the key is to shift from merely thinking of your desire to feeling it is real. When you enter into the emotion of the wish fulfilled, your inner state changes. You become aligned with that version of yourself who already has what you seek. You cannot fake it, but you can practice it. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Now, imagine your desire fulfilled, the goal achieved, the dream realized, the miracle complete. How would you feel? Not how you think you would feel. How would you actually feel if it were done? Would you feel relief? Joy? Peace? Gratitude? That feeling, that emotion, is the secret key. Hold it. Liven it. Let it become your new normal. When you dwell in the emotion of success, your body begins to vibrate differently. Your energy changes. People respond to you differently. Circumstances shift. Opportunities appear. Because the outer world can only echo the vibration of your inner feeling. Feeling is not imagination alone. It is imagination made alive. It gives life to the picture, breathes spirit into the idea. Without feeling, imagination is a lifeless sketch. With feeling, it becomes a living creation, destined to manifest. That's why you must learn to feel deliberately. Don't wait for the world to give you something to feel good about. Feel good first, and the world will rearrange itself to match your inner state. This is not denial. It is divine control. You are not ignoring reality. You are creating it. When you feel abundance, abundance comes. When you feel love, love flows. When you feel peace, chaos dissolves. When you feel success, doors open. Because every emotion is a signal to creation saying, "This is who I am now." The subconscious mind, being the creative power, accepts whatever you feel as truth. It does not argue. It does not reason. It simply obeys. So when you feel rich, even before money arrives, your subconscious begins arranging the path for that wealth to appear. When you feel loved, even before you meet the person, the right connections are drawn to you. When you feel healthy, even before the healing shows, your body begins to restore itself. The bridge from imagination to manifestation is crossed by feeling. You cannot cross it with logic or effort, only with faith and emotion. So today, stop chasing and start feeling. Feel the end as if it's already here. Feel the joy of the wish fulfilled. And hold that feeling until the world has no choice but to reflect it. For feeling is not a reaction to life. It is the creator of life. When you master feeling, you master creation itself. Faith means ignoring appearances. Faith is not believing when everything looks perfect. Faith is holding the vision when everything around you says, "It's impossible." Anyone can believe when life is easy, when the signs are visible, when progress is obvious. But the true test of faith comes when nothing seems to move, when your senses scream failure, and your heart whispers, "Keep going." Faith means ignoring appearances, not in denial, but in divine confidence. It is the quiet knowing that what you see now is only a shadow of what is being formed within. The outer world is always the echo of the inner world. What you experience today is the harvest of what you once imagined, assumed, and felt. So, if you want tomorrow to change, you must stop reacting to the appearances of today. When things look dark, do not call them dark. When things look delayed, do not call them late. When things look impossible, do not agree with the illusion. You must learn to see beyond sight, to look through the outer shell of circumstances and hold to the unseen truth within you. That is faith. Faith is the refusal to accept the visible as final. It is the conviction that the unseen reality, the vision you hold, the feeling you've assumed, is far more real than the facts that surround you. Because the facts of today are temporary. They are old creations, projections of who you used to be. But your faith, your inner assumption, is a new seed, and it will grow if you do not dig it up with doubt. When you say, "I am wealthy," and your bank account is empty, that is faith. When you say, "I am healthy," while your body still aches, that is faith. When you say, "I am loved," even in loneliness, that is faith. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. It is persistence in the truth of your imagination, no matter how loudly the senses contradict it. This is the spiritual discipline that separates the dreamer from the creator. The dreamer reacts to life, the creator commands it. And command begins with believing before seeing. If you wait for proof to appear before you believe, you'll remain stuck in the loop of appearances. But the moment you choose to believe, even against logic, even against reason, you activate the law of creation. The world may not shift instantly, but the process has begun. Invisible forces start moving. People are influenced, opportunities align, timing unfolds. All because your inner world declared, "It is done." That declaration, that inner conviction, is faith in action. Do not be fooled by delay. Delay is not denial. The seed takes time to break through the soil, but its growth is certain if you do not disturb it. So when you see no evidence, rejoice, because that is the moment your faith is tested. And every test, when passed, becomes manifestation. Look at your life through the eyes of faith. See what is becoming, not what is. Feel the reality of your desire fulfilled, and refuse to be moved by appearances. Faith does not beg. Faith knows. Faith rests. When you master faith, you stop reacting to life and begin creating it. You stop asking when and start knowing now. And when you ignore appearances long enough, when you stay loyal to your invisible vision, the illusion of limitation collapses, and the truth you held within becomes visible before your eyes. That is the power of faith, to stand firm in the unseen until it becomes seen. The world reflects your inner state. Everything you see outside of you is a reflection of what you have accepted within you. The world is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Your outer reality is a mirror, showing you the contents of your inner consciousness. Every event, every person, every circumstance is echoing your own assumptions, emotions, and beliefs. The moment you understand this, you stop blaming and start creating. Look closely at your life. What you call reality is not random. It is the reflection of who you currently believe yourself to be. If you live in fear, the world shows you things to fear. If you live in confidence, the world gives you reasons to feel confident. If you live in abundance, opportunities seem to appear out of thin air. Because life is a mirror, and it always returns the energy you send out. You cannot hide your inner state. You may smile outwardly, but if you carry doubt within, the world feels it. You may speak positively, but if you secretly feel unworthy, the mirror will show you that reflection again and again until you change within. This is not punishment. It is mercy, because the mirror is here to wake you up. It is showing you, moment by moment, who you are being. Every relationship, every obstacle, every success is feedback, a message from the universe saying, this is your current vibration. So when something unwanted appears, don't fight it. Don't react. Instead, look within. Ask yourself, what must I be believing right now to experience this? The world is only showing you your own assumptions projected outward. When you change your inner state, the outer reflection must change too. That's the law. It never fails. You can't change the mirror by trying to wipe the reflection. You can only change it by adjusting the image standing before it, you. If you want a better reflection, you must feel better within. If you want love, become love. If you want success, feel successful now. If you want abundance, live in the consciousness of abundance before it appears. The mirror will always follow your inner identity. This is why Neville said, change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Your identity is the seed from which your entire experience grows. When you say, I am poor, I am unlucky, or I am not enough, you're commanding the mirror to keep showing you that reflection. But when you say, I am wealthy, I am blessed, I am chosen, and truly feel it, reality rearranges itself to make that statement true. The mirror cannot argue. It simply reflects. So stop fighting shadows. Stop trying to fix the outside world. Go inward. Change the image in consciousness, and the reflection will follow. When you begin to live from the awareness that your imagination shapes your world, you move from victim to creator. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin declaring, this is happening through me. Then, the world becomes your canvas. Every experience becomes a brushstroke, guided by your inner belief. You are the painter, not the painting. The dreamer, not the dream. The world has no choice but to mirror who you believe yourself to be. So make your belief beautiful. See yourself as worthy, abundant, powerful, and free, and life will rush to confirm it. Remember, the world is not the cause, it is the effect. You are the cause. Change within, and everything without must change. That is the law. That is creation. That is your power. Persistence transforms imagination into fact. Creation does not happen in the moment you see results. It happens the instant you imagine and believe. But for that invisible creation to become visible, one quality is required above all: persistence. Persistence is faith in motion. It is the quiet, steady decision to remain loyal to your vision, no matter what the senses report. It is refusing to abandon your inner reality just because the outer world has not yet caught up. When you first assume your desire, when you first feel the wish fulfilled, something shifts inside you. The seed of creation is planted. But seeds need time to grow, and that time between imagination and manifestation is where most people give up. They plant the seed, water it once, and when nothing appears by morning, they dig it up again. They let doubt and impatience steal what faith had already begun. Persistence is the opposite of that. Persistence says, I will hold the end in mind until it solidifies in matter. It says, I know what I imagined is real, and I will not be moved by appearances. Every great creator, Every visionary, every master of manifestation shares this trait. They persist in the unseen. They keep living in the state of the wish fulfilled, over and over, until it becomes second nature. When the outer world shows lack, they persist in abundance. When others say it's impossible, they persist in certainty. When nothing changes, they persist in feeling that it already has. Because persistence shapes reality through repetition. Each time you return to the inner vision, you impress it deeper upon your subconscious mind. And once impressed, the subconscious must express. Think of the sculptor chiseling marble. One strike does not reveal the statue, but 1,000 precise strikes, guided by the same image held within, slowly uncover the masterpiece. The sculptor does not question after each strike whether the form will appear. He persists until it does. So it is with imagination. Each time you assume your wish fulfilled, you are striking the marble of your mind. Each repetition carves away doubt. Each feeling of completion strengthens the mold of reality. And one day, suddenly, the outer world reveals what was always there, the masterpiece finished in consciousness long ago. Do not confuse persistence with struggle. Persistence is not force, it is faithful relaxation. It is resting in the knowing that creation is already complete. It's the quiet confidence that says, it's done, and I will continue to feel it done until the world agrees. There will be moments when nothing seems to happen, when logic tells you to give up, when appearances mock your faith. That is the precise moment when persistence must stand firm. Hold the feeling. Return to your inner scene. Live again and again in the end, until it feels so real that the outer world becomes the illusion. Persistence turns imagination into conviction. Conviction turns conviction into fact. Everything you have ever manifested, consciously or unconsciously, came from a feeling you persisted in, whether it was fear or faith. So choose your persistence wisely. If you can persist in worry, you can persist in certainty. If you can persist in doubt, you can persist in belief. The law does not care what you persist in, it only knows to make it real. So persist in the truth of your desire. Persist in the feeling of already done. Persist until the world bends to your inner command. For imagination is the beginning, and persistence is the bridge that carries it into form. Hold your vision. Refuse to let it go. And reality will yield, because it must. That is the power of persistence. That is how imagination becomes fact.